Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to make another lesson of mechanics explained and how things are actually working in this game, or specifically mechanics that I use on my builds. So this video is specifically tailored towards my Vaal builds. And I came across, or at least it's a fact, that on every single Vaal build that I play, I explain the mechanic over and over and over again. But I think it's just not really necessary, because if I just make a standalone video like this one and explain how everything is working, I can just refer to that video later on when I play different Vaal builds, you know, before like explaining it on every single video. Because in one hand, if you already know how it works, it's boring for you to watch, and on the other hand, the videos will get shorter in that term if I just refer to this video, and we're good, okay? There is a hair on my nose. Fucking hell, dude. Okay, so what is this video about? As I said before, we are talking about sustaining Vaal skills. How does this work with the soul game prevention? What is a soul game prevention? Vaal cost of skills, how many stacks, or at least how can you get more than one Vaal skill stacked? Also, Soul Catcher and Soul Ripper. This is actually a question that I get quite often, because on my builds I always use the Soul Catcher Flask, right? But I'm gonna teach you what the Soul Ripper actually does compared to the Soul Catcher. And also on Standard, I have a build that I played last league, that's why it's in Standard, that has a full gear with an example on how to use the Soul Ripper Flask, okay? That's a more expensive version. Okay, so we are going to our good old blood aqueducts here. This is my testing area, my showcase area, right? I'm gonna equip a little bit of gear, and I'm going to explain what gear I'm actually just using and why am I using those, okay? So, first of all, Tabula. This is going to be our pretty much, yeah, hey, why is this not... Wait a sec, I need to fix that. I need to fix that. There is no way I'm playing with... Wait a second. There is no way I'm playing with a 16% Tabula. Okay. Okay, that was for the video. Shit! Shit, this was unexpected. Oh no. Hey, Skin of the Loyal. Perfect. Nice. There is a better version of Tabula. That's not even bad. Sorry for that. That was actually not expected. It's the gambling spirit, dudes. Come on, okay. So, this is just a better Tabula, okay? It white sockets, one level of socket gems, Skin of the Loyal. That's the better Tabula, okay? But it's still we're gonna do the thing here, okay? Perfect. So this is going to be our skill placeholder. Then we have the weapons that I need to activate this cost of Vaal skills. I do actually need a Headhunter in this showcase, and not because Headhunter is broken. I needed to equip this less duration gem, okay? Actually, wait a second. If I have some... I can actually do it without. If I'm just skilling into the strength nodes here, I could actually do that. Yeah, never mind. Let's just use this as a stat holder, okay? And give some life. This is not because of Headhunter buffs and so on, okay? It's just to equip those things here. So, what we're gonna talk first, I think we're gonna talk about the soul gain prevention. A soul gain prevention, if we're just gonna...
Thank you for following.
Why is there always... why do I always forget to turn off the alert box when I'm offline? Okay, sorry. And thanks for the follow, by the way. So, thing is, we have, with these Vaal skills that you get from a Vaal Orb, Double Corruption, whatever, you get a normal skill and the Vaal version of that. The Vaal version is always the empowered version of something, okay? So, if we're just gonna get our Quicksilver Flask now, that has no stacks, because I'm so good at preparing videos, we're just gonna kill off a couple of mobs here. And you see, the more mobs we kill, we're gonna get souls, and this will load up our Vaal skill. We have now 21 of 25 souls, so we're just gonna keep on going, and now we have one stack of our Vaal arc, because, yeah, 25 stacks, and it has a soul game prevention of 6. This is the actual that you have when you have a Vaal skill, okay? So now I can use this Vaal skill once. It's just a more empowered version. And I need to run because I don't have life flasks. Good example. But as you see, this is now like crossed, okay? I don't know if you saw that. I was just a little bit too nervous here. Let's do this again. Oh god, if I die here. Oh no. So, okay, we have now one. I am using that. And now this is like crossed, okay? For the next 6 seconds, which is the soul gain prevention, I cannot get any kind of Vaal skill souls, okay? So there is no way. I need to wait until these 6 seconds pass, then I kill mobs again, then I get the souls again, and then I can use it again. This is the actual Vaal skill. So we can actually manipulate this if we're having a Vaal skill that has a duration. As you see here, the arc has in the top side Vaal spell, Vaal spell, chaining, lightning, and duration. The duration tag is important because now we can manipulate this timer here with less duration and swift affliction. Both of those gems, especially the less duration one, will reduce the skill effect duration, okay? Remember, on any kind of chaos skills where you have increased skill effect duration, so your essence drain lasts longer and all that kind of stuff, no, we don't want any kind of skill effect duration, because a skill effect duration will also make the soul gain prevention longer. And what we want to do here, or achieve here, is to reduce the soul gain prevention. So, as we say here, we have 6 second soul gain prevention. If we now get less duration in there, so I need to equip this one so I can activate the gem, we now have a soul gain prevention of 2.67 down from 6 seconds, okay? So you see we already have half the time of the less duration. Although, what does this duration tag means on arc here, in specific, right? It says, also grants a buff, making you lucky when damaging enemies with your next arc for a short duration. So, this buff will not last as long anymore, but we don't care about the buff, to be honest. We care about the soul gain prevention. So, now we have the same with the Swift Affliction. This is the weaker form of less duration, but still this gem says reduced duration of supported skills and damaging ailments they inflict, right? So, the other two lines with more damage over time and so on, that doesn't matter for our build in specific, because we are just an arc build, we don't have damage over time. This is more important if you have like a Vaal Blight or something, right? What is actually a chaos kill. So if we get this one in, our soul gain prevention is now 2.2 seconds, right? So if we're just gonna kill off mobs here again, we have our souls almost, and now we shoot. This timer now is 2.2 seconds, and now we can already get souls again. So we reduce the 6 seconds down to 2.2 seconds, okay? And this is how this works. So you want to reduce the soul gain prevention as good as possible. At some point, once this is like less than a second, your Vaal skill will start shooting out to the enemy. The timer runs. After like 0.5 seconds, you can get souls again, and this is when the arc hits and kills all the mobs, and you get the souls back from that Vaal skill, okay? So, the next important thing is this Flask, the Soul Catcher. This Flask says, Vaal skills used during effect have 40% reduced soul gain prevention, okay? That means, even without, we said before, we're gonna start with these 6 second timer that we're playing on, right? So, let me kill off some more mobs here. Oh, nice, or the next Tabula, and hopefully it doesn't rip. So, we're just gonna kill some more mobs here. So we got the flasks. Okay, I can use it once now, so for the showcase, right? We said 6 second soul gain prevention. I'm using my flask 2.52 with less duration and swift affliction down to 0.48 seconds. Now it's not even half a second when I use my Vaal skill that I cannot get souls. And this is exactly why I can just activate this flask, shoot my Vaal arc, and the kills of the Vaal arc will already give me the souls for my next Vaal arc, okay? As you see, killing Vaal arc, I just keep on running. I still have 1 stack here. Killing the next pack, I get souls back. I can activate it again. I can use it again. And this is how you can just self-sustaining your Vaal skill, because you get the soul gain prevention as low as possible. So, this point, I hope, is clear. What is soul gain prevention and how to manipulate that if you have a duration gem. Also, for example, the Vaal Fireball has also duration. Because, where do we say? Soul gain prevention 5 seconds. Where is it? Where is it? God damn it. But here for the showcase real quick, soul gain prevention is now 5 seconds with less duration and swift affliction. It's 5 seconds because I'm stupid and I don't really got this right. Anyways, we can still manipulate this one with the the Flask, which gives it down to 2.10 seconds. This was actually my bad, so forget about this Vaal thing here, this fireball. This is something I want to talk after the Arc showcase, okay? Great. So, we remove this again, and now we're gonna talk about the, like this is probably clear, right? With the duration, if the Vaal skill has a duration. Let's make this green, so this topic is for now clear. Next one is cost of Vaal skills. That means how many souls does your Vaal skill need to be activated? On Vaal Arc, it's 25, okay? So that means as soon as we have 25 souls, we can shoot Arc once. So now there is several options that you can actually reduce the cost of this Vaal skill. So it doesn't cost 25, it costs 7, 8 soul per use, okay? This is the next example. So we're just gonna keep actually this one in, so we have our soul gain prevention, what we talked about before, so it's easier to showcase. And now we have these weapons here, right? We are just talking about the reduced soul cost of Vaal skills. This is a mod that you get with the Bloodstained Fossil. And this is a 100% mod, okay? So that means on a one-handed weapon, this mod will always be 20% reduced. And on a two-handed weapon, this will always be 40%. It's not a min-max where you say like, yeah, 10 to 20%. No, it is 20% on a one hand, 40% on two hand. So that means we have now, the cost is 25, right? So if we just gonna quickly write this down, let's say Vaal Arc in this example, 25 souls. Now we're gonna use those two weapons, and now we have 40% reduced because we're dual wielding those, right? These stack. So we have now 40% reduced cost of Vaal skills. That means we don't have 25 now. We multiply this by 0.6 because 40% is reduced, so the end amount is the 0.6, which is 15, right? That means my Vaal skill does now cost 15 instead of 25. I still have only one single charge. I think this is actually almost done with the map here. Now I'm actually doing a little bit of damage. PogChamp. Oh, feels good. So I have now screw that. The Flask doesn't matter here, okay? So I still can maximum have a number of one single charge that I can use for now. And I'm actually gonna die here. Oh no. Let me reset this real quick. Should actually have taken a life flask with me. Hey, mbX, why don't you have a life flask? What a freaking noob. Let me quickly get a flask here. Immunity to shock, whatever. Yeah, let's take a life flask so we're good again. Let's reset the zone so we can just farm this one again. For the showcase, right? So, as I said, we're gonna have 15 Vaal cost skill. That means I can activate it with less than, let's say we have here 9 costs, and I still is already full. So we're gonna kill off these couple mobs here. Now I have 1 arc stack here, as you see, and I only have 17 of 25 souls. If you're gonna make this now full, for the showcase here, so I have now 25 stacks, it's still 1. Why is that? Because my skill cost 15. And it will only show the stacks divided by that number, okay? That means if I have 25 souls that I actually need for the skill, and I divide this by 15, what is the current cost, I have 1.6. So it only shows 1 stack, there is no point something. If it would be 2.1, I would have 2 stacks, okay? If it would be 1.9, I would still have 1 stack, because this is just how it works. It only shows that 1 stack, that the amount of souls that you can actually spend now for using that skill. So we can remove this or reduce this even more with our Soul Catcher Flask, because this doesn't not only reduce the soul gain prevention, it also says Vaal skills have percentage reduced soul cost during effect, right? But the most important thing on this whole thing is, right, we're Pathfinder. And the Pathfinder will make this build possible, because this will not work on an assassin or something. You will not have the full 5 stacks. And why is that? Because of Flask effect. Pathfinder has a lot of increased effect of flasks on you. Same as this small node, this node, this node, this node. Then we have Alchemist here, which also gives you effect of flasks on you. That means that I will not only have 25% reduced soul cost during effect, I will have even less cost, because my Pathfinder nodes, all this effect of Flask, will make this Flask even stronger, right? And this is where to get to a point where, because if I just say like, okay, the Soul Catcher gives me now 25% reduced, plus it makes 25 from the Soul Catcher and 20 from our weapons, which is a total of 65, okay? So if we say now my Vaal skill costs 25 here, right? And multiplied by 0.35, which is the leftover basically. Probably make an equal number here. I have 8.7. So if we're gonna divide this 25 divided by this 8.7, I get up to 2.8 stacks. That means for other characters that don't have that amount of Flask effect, I only get 2 stacks, although it's 2.8 stacks. But as I told before, you only get the 2 stacks, right? But with all this amount of Flask effect that we have as a Pathfinder, we're gonna get this down to 6 cost is the final, like somewhere between 5 and 6 cost, right? Because if we now divide the 25 divided by 6, actually 5, sorry, my bad. That was my bad, because I have 5 stacks in the end, so that's why I know that the Vaal cost skill is somewhere between 4 and 5 actually. So if we divide this 25 by 5, we're gonna get 5 stacks out of that. And this is exactly what happens when I activate the Flask as a Pathfinder. You see, I have here 25 stacks still, right? I have 1 stack of Vaal Arc. I press now my Flask, and I have 4 stacks. Because I forgot my fucking jewel. Okay. Good that we do this in a progress way, right? Because now I make mistakes and I can explain those mistakes, why did they happen and why it's not working, right? There is another jewel that I forgot to talk about. It's the Conqueror's Potency, and that says 8% increased effect of flasks on you. So this is also with the notes over here, plus the Alchemist, plus this jewel here, will make our Vaal cost skill less than 5, basically, right? And now I have 1 stack here, but if I press my Flask, I now have 5 stacks, because the actual Vaal skill cost is somewhere between 4 to 5 Vaal, okay? And this is the reason why I can have freaking 5 stacks of my Vaal thing, right? And with the soul game prevention that I explained before, only being on 0.39, the kill of the Vaal skill already will give me back souls. So I load up 3 stacks, again 3 stacks. The more mobs are here, now I'm on 4 stacks, 5 stacks. That means I'm getting way more souls back than I can actually use. And this is how I can permanently sustain my Vaal skills here, right? Okay, that's about the Vaal cost of Vaal skills, right? This is also check. So we can now transfer this to Fireball. And now, as I said before, Fireball doesn't have a duration. So it's a little bit harder to build around. This is just one example, right? So the soul game prevention of Vaal Fireball is not 6 seconds like on Arc, it's 5 seconds. But I cannot manipulate it with Swift Affliction and less duration, right? So let's remove this one, and now we're gonna do the same again. The same principle, right? I'm gonna reduce the soul game prevention to down to 195 at the moment, and I can store up, like my Vaal skill will be 6 per use, because this skill uses 30 souls per use and not 25 as the other one, right? So I can stack up to 5 stacks on this one as well, same as Vaal Blight does also use 30 souls. So if I get like 30 divided by 6, makes 5. So my Vaal skill cost here is about 6, right? Or even maybe 5 point something. So, same principle, I'm just gonna kill off a couple of mobs here. I can now activate my Soul Catcher, and I have 2 stacks of Vaal Fireball. And this one has actually duration because it's not one shot as the other skill, like the Arc. It actually channels a little bit longer, right? So I can just run, get souls back, activate it again, kill, get souls back, activate it again, kill, get souls back, and so on. This is going to be easier when there is a lot more mobs, right? Because here is just too low mob density to really get my Vaal skills back, right? Oh, another humility. Hey, I'm actually getting rich here with a tabula. Once this video is done, we're gonna have a full tabula. But no, this is just another showcase of this skill. I'm actually not even entirely sure. Let me check something that could actually work. This is just because Vaal Fireball is a skill that I haven't played yet, right? But I know it's working the same way like almost every other Vaal skill. So I have somewhere an Arcane Surge. That could actually get a duration on my Fireball. Why is that? Because my Fireball now gives me Arcane Surge, and Arcane Surge is a buff, so that has a duration. So it might actually be possible to lower the soul game prevention. No, it doesn't work. Sadly not. Okay, it doesn't work in all ways, sadly. That would have been cool if you're just gonna add an arcane surge so you get the duration tag on your Vaal skill just because you're shooting those Vaal fireballs. But no, in the other hand, this does not work in that case because a Vaal skill does not cost any mana, okay? A Vaal skill does not cost mana. That means that my fireball can proc the arcane surge, but not my Vaal fireball. Because you need to spend mana for that, right? Okay, so we also talked about the Soul Catcher Flask with the reduced cost of Vaal skills and also the reduced soul gain prevention, right? So, this is basically check as well, the Soul Catcher. And now I'm gonna give you one example of the Soul Ripper Flask. And therefore, I'm going to log into my standard here, this is a character that I played last league. It's a permanent Vaal Righteous Fire character. And this one is actually quite fancy. It doesn't work... I mean, it does work the same as it was back in the days. The only thing is I have here exploding weapons, okay? So, same principle again here. I have here weapons that has reduced cost of Vaal skills. Same principle as I explained before. The thing here is, though, that I'm using the Soul Ripper Flask. So what does the Soul Ripper compare to the Soul Catcher? The Soul Catcher reduces the soul gain prevention and reduces the cost of Vaal skills. The Soul Ripper Flask now, Vaal skills during effect do not apply soul gain prevention. Okay, that is important. The bad thing actually is, gains no charges during effect of any Soul Ripper Flask. That means as soon as I have this flask on, I do not get any kind of soul gain prevention, right? That means I can just activate it. Wait, Flask is not active. Give me a second. So now the Flask is full again. I activate it, and now I can use Vaal Righteous Fire without actually getting soul gain prevention. I can activate it again, right? And that's the way how this Flask works. The thing is, on this specific example, why Righteous Fire? So, Righteous Fire is a Vaal skill that has a duration, right? And this is a duration that you want to have. Because if you're now going to use this Vaal Righteous Fire, right? It says... oh shit, I'm actually burning. Cool, nice. So, the Vaal Righteous Fire, we want to have this Vaal Righteous Fire. The base duration is 4 seconds, okay? I'm going to write this down. So, Vaal Righteous Fire. Base duration... is 4 seconds, okay? Important to know. The soul gain prevention here is freaking 12 seconds. So, soul gain prevention, 12 seconds. So, as you see, there is actually no way around it that we can sustain the Vaal Righteous Fire here, because it only lasts for 4 seconds, and I cannot gain souls for 12 seconds. So even with less duration, this is the thing here. If I now add less duration, same as on Vaal Arc, for example, Vaal Blight, Vaal Stormcall, Vaal Spark, whatever these skills, right? Less duration will not only make my soul gain prevention lower. Let's say on the new example, let's say we have 50% less duration, okay? Let's just say it like that. That means my soul gain prevention will be down to 6, which is good, right? But the Vaal Righteous Fire will only last 2 seconds now, because I'm reducing the duration, right? So, however you're gonna try to make enough soul gain, like less duration on that, you're not gonna make any profit out of that. The same way, if you're gonna say like, wait a second, what if we just increase the duration, right? So we have the same example here. Let me just copy this one over here. Let's say we have increased duration of 50. Now, my base duration will not be 4 seconds, it will be 8 seconds. The problem is the soul gain prevention will not be 12 seconds, it will be 24 seconds, okay? So there is no way around this that you can do it the same way as the Soul Catcher Flask. And this is where this thing comes in handy. For some reason, quality on this flask is bad. Why is that? Because the duration of the flask. As we read, gains no charges during effect of any Soul Ripper flask, but we're not gonna have soul gain prevention during the flask. That means we can activate Vaal Righteous Fire multiple times, but once this flask is off, I have the full soul gain prevention on it, right? Unless I activate it again. So, if we're gonna just write this one down here, that's the important thing, okay? Because here we have elemental focus, efficiency, and increased duration. That's why I'm saying the increased duration will make this duration longer. So, but this is just a little bit on the next step. I want to make it as easy as possible. Now we're gonna have, let's say, Vaal Righteous Fire lasts 4 seconds, right? So if we're gonna add now the the increased duration and the efficiency is damage over time and also increased skill effect duration. That's actually something very nice over here, right? We're gonna increase the duration of my Vaal Righteous Fire to 9.32 seconds from 4 seconds, right? So we're gonna add this one to, oh come on, let me just do like this, 9.32 seconds with the increased duration, right? But we're gonna get the soul gain prevention from 12 seconds to, how much is it? 27.69 seconds, okay? So as you see, as the same principle over here, we're just gonna increase both the duration and the soul gain prevention. So how to make this now? My Flask lasts now 4.8 seconds. 4.8 seconds. So the idea behind this strategy is to make your Flask get off cooldown and increasing the duration of Vaal Righteous Fire to have it so long that you're gonna use the Vaal Righteous Fire within the Flask, and then let's say your Flask wears off after 4.8 seconds. After this 4.8 seconds, my Righteous Fire is still on, right? Because it has like 5 more seconds than the Flask duration. So after those 4.8 seconds, I have soul gain prevention, but my Vaal Righteous Fire is still on, but I'm getting Flask charges again. So the mission here is to get those, how many Flask charges is 60? Those 60 Flask charges within those 5 seconds. So before my Vaal Righteous Fire runs off, I can activate my Flask again. I have no soul gain prevention. I can reactivate my Vaal Righteous Fire and keep on going like that, right? So if we're just gonna finish this one here now. Yeah, pretty funny build here. As you see, my Vaal Righteous Fire lasts quite long, and I'm already getting back the soul stacks. And there is another clue on this one. See, my Vaal Righteous Fire is still on, and I can already activate my Flask again. And this is how this works, right? So let me quickly run through this. God, I actually love this build. Probably is going to be my next build. It's actually super funny here. So, run. Oh shit, I'm dropping. So, okay. This is now the next level of that, okay? Because we're gonna make this Vaal Righteous Fire last even longer just to showcase this build, right? I have here self-cursing temp chains. You remember that probably of my 5 Emblem carry, where we're gonna increase the duration of our buffs, right? The thing is, we're also gonna increase the duration of our Flask. But 20% of 5 seconds is less than 20% of 10 seconds, right? So we are increasing the duration of Vaal Righteous Fire more than we're gonna increase the Flask effect, right? And the best way to do that is just like having Stormbrand here, right? So the thing how I play this build, I activate my my Righteous Fire, because this is just the usual thing here. I'm self-cursing myself with temp chains. I get my Flask things on. I activate my Vaal Righteous Fire. Okay, now I can activate it as well. Now my Flask is off cooldown, and my Vaal Righteous Fire still lasts for probably 10 seconds, right? See, my Flask is off and again. I activate my Vaal Righteous Fire again. And this is how it keeps on going, you know? You're just gonna keep on spamming those Flasks, and you're just gonna get everything back. Okay, this is the difference between the Soul Catcher Flask and the Soul Ripper Flask, okay? For the Soul Catcher, you want to reduce the soul gain prevention to an absolute minimum, so your Vaal skills will give you back souls. The Soul Ripper Flask is for that kind of Vaal skills that you cannot manipulate that way, same as the Righteous Fire, because there is no reason why should you reduce the Vaal Righteous Fire effect. There is no way, as I showed here, that you can remove the Vaal cost skills or increase it the way that your Vaal Righteous Fire lasts longer. And this is why you need this Flask. So it wears off before your Vaal Righteous Fire wears off, and you're gonna collect the charges again within those 5 seconds. And if the monster density is good enough, there's no problem doing so, okay? Alright, so soul gain prevention is clear, cost of Vaal skills is clear, Soul Catcher and Soul Ripper is clear as well. And by the way, this is a Juggernaut, okay? We only need the Pathfinder for the reduced effect, okay? For the soul gain prevention. This principle here works with any other class too, because I don't need the Flask effect duration, right? This is actually bad on this showcase. Alright guys, enough talked. I hope you learned a little bit about, or a little bit more insight about Vaal skills. Vaal skills are insanely fun to play, especially if you manipulate it that way, that you have permanent arc, permanent Vaal Righteous Fire, permanent Vaal Fireball, Vaal Spark, Vaal Blight. There is so many cool Vaal builds, and I just wanted to make this video to explain how these things are working, what is the mechanic behind the thing, and how you can just manipulate it in the way that you can permanently sustain it. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.